On the last build, at the end of the completion of the bike, I did a video that went through how much each piece cost. I figured though, since a lot of people are probably building bikes, if they're watching these videos, I should go ahead and talk about the cost of each item or each service that I have performed as I go through it, just so that you can get a sense of how much some of these products or services cost. I've brought the bike inside for this video because here in Central Florida it's pretty damn hot today, and since my wife's not home yet, I figure she won't be any the wiser if I have this in the living room for a few minutes as I put this video together. Again, I build these bikes for myself. I'm not doing these to necessarily sell or turn a profit, so I don't really have ROI in mind when I'm purchasing the different parts and putting things together. I assume at the end the cost of the bike is going to be more than it's worth. But again, for me it's a hobby and I really enjoy doing it, so the cost isn't the biggest factor there for me. But just to go over some of the things that have already been done on the bike, and then in future videos I'll go ahead and indicate how much each thing costs as I go through it. The frame I got for $225 included the frame itself, the forks, the handlebar, triple tree, and I think that was it. I separately purchased a different rear swing arm for $25 that didn't have the broken off stud in the rear swing arm where it connects to the buddy pegs. I actually bought original Honda bolts to hold the motor. That was actually $27. The motor that I have on here now, the manual version, was $313 shipped, which is a great value considering the semi-automatic version that I put into the other bike was $425 shipped. So more than $100 less expensive. And after having ridden the semi-auto version for, I don't know, maybe 10 miles now on the other bike, I gotta say I miss this motor. This motor was more fun, especially if you're used to riding motorcycles. Not having a clutch is a disconcerting feeling as you're going through the gears, and the shifting just isn't nearly as smooth. So I definitely miss this motor, and I'm looking forward to riding it again once this bike is finished. For rebuilding the front fork, the front arms here were $85, and the gaiters and the cups here were $35. And then to get the frame refinished, first I had it welded. That cost me $40 to have the repair done in some of the parts back here that had problems, and the plate that was welded on the back, and the other plate that was welded here. You can see it from this side. The powder coating job was $200 for all the parts that I powder coated. That included the chain guard that will go on the bike at the end. There was also an additional $40 to have the bike sandblasted first before I took it to the welder to have the repairs made, and then taking it back to the powder coaters to have it sandblasted again and then have the final powder coat put on. This build is likely to be more expensive than the last just because I don't have as many donor parts off of a complete bike to refinish, so a lot of the stuff is going to be remanufactured. In a lot of cases it's less expensive to just buy something that's already finished and ready to go than to buy something that's old and needs to be worked on and prepped and painted or powder coated. Again, I'll kind of keep tally as we go through the build, but I'm not expecting this to be an inexpensive project. So today I do have the shocks that came in. I believe these were about $50, so let's put these on. I was going to try to film that installation in hyperlapse, but I realized it was so easy that it made for a pretty terrible effect there. So they actually just, of course, popped out of the box and put on. I don't have all of the right nuts. I ordered new 10mm acorn nuts and also the correct washers to go on the top and bottom parts of the shock. So at least now the swing arm is attached to the rest of the frame. I went with the chrome colored top caps. They do sell the blue-green color caps, but I'm guessing that the match wouldn't be perfect since the powder coat that I used here, obviously isn't a color match. So I'm guessing it would have been a few shades off, and that would have probably drove me nuts. So the chrome I think will match with the rest of the chrome I'm putting on the bike. And I think also for the headlight bucket, since I have the same color problem, I'm just going to use a chrome headlight bucket so that it has the chrome and blue-green motif across the whole project. It's another really hot day here in Florida, so I don't feel like going into the garage, but I did get a UPS package and wanted to show what I got. Most of it isn't really video worthy for the install because it's just stuff that you throw together. But since I'm keeping track of the price of everything, this entire box was $308 from Trail Buddy. So I'll go through all the different parts, but just for the total tally, I think that puts us up to $1,308. So let me go through what's inside. I'd also like to give a shout out to Trail Buddy. They don't sponsor me or anything like that, but every time I've reached out to them, they have the most friendly customer service. I had a problem with one product one time. They immediately shipped me out a another one. So great resource for your parts on your CT70 build. So this is the decal for the HK0 model. The Honda Trail 70 logo that I'll be putting on the bike. Since I didn't have wheels that came with the frame, this time I just bought finished wheels. So these are steel wheels that are already painted and obviously in perfect condition. On my last build, you saw that I had to do lots of polishing and grinding and other things to get the wheels apart and then put together and painted. It looked like though if I bought used wheels and went through that same process, it wouldn't end up being much less expensive than just buying these ready to go. So that's what I did this time. I believe these were $45 a pair, so for a pair of halves. So $90 for 4 halves or 2 full wheels. I also got the inner tubes for the wheels. I'm going to put this whole assembly together. These are the ones with the 90-degree stems. I like these on the other bike quite a bit, so decided to do them on this bike as well. On the front hub, I need a new brake. I'll need it for the rear hub too, but I saw something on eBay that was the entire rear hub assembly that included the brake pads and the brake arm. So if I end up going that route, I won't need to buy separate brake pads, but I do have a fully intact front brake hub from the 1976 bike since I ended up going with the disc brake option on the bike that I finished up. So I have the whole assembly, but it will need new pads, so that's what these are for. Since I was already paying for shipping, I got the grommet that goes on the side for the wires to go through the front of the frame. Trail Buddy has a full set of the nuts and bolts, all stainless steel, to assemble the 2 wheel halves together, as well as assembling the hub onto that full assembly. So we got this full set. I believe these were pretty pricey. They're $15 each, so $30 for the full set of wheels. So this is the same tire that I used on the other bike, Trials brand. Anyway, it has a pretty aggressive looking tread. Looks pretty similar to the Bridgestone tire, but is much less expensive. I think these were $40 or $45 each. And also, they're called Trials. On the Trail Buddy website, it says Trails, which would make more sense, but it says right here Trials. So I got these tires, and I believe that's it. I do need to sand and paint and refinish the front hub assembly that I have. And again, need to figure out what I'm going to do about the rear assembly, but this bike should be a roller here in the next few days. Oh. I almost didn't notice it because of all the packaging, but I did buy a new official Honda top chrome piece to finish off the top part of the frame.